What's up, rock stars? It's Rocks with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog. So let's get to it. Alright, rock stars, before we get to the fool of fucking negatory, we must say a rest in peace to former First Lady of the 41st President, George Bush. Barbara Bush, she died on Tuesday evening, while surrounded by her very close family and friends. Many of us remember Barbara Bush as the fiercely loyal and also was widely protected and loved by her family. Back in 2013, Barbara Bush was hospitalized for pneumonia, and they say that her health has been declining since, but even back in 2013, you have to say she was 87 years old. So even at that time, she had already lived a very full life. So at 92 years old, this was a woman that was lucky enough to see many, many things in her life. Many do have opposing views on the Bush family. I think the black community can remember some of the disparaging remarks that she said back when Hurricane Katrina happened, and many of us cannot forget those words and the pain that it had caused, on top of everything else that was going on at the time. Her son was in office and he was not getting glowing reviews as well. And there have been other times when people have said that Barbara Bush was dismissive and unresponsive to those that were underrepresented in the poor communities. So you have many who don't really see her in the most positive light. But what we all can agree on was that, like I said, she was fiercely loyal to her family, her husband, who was the president. Many times she did not agree with some of his policies and standings on things. And when she didn't, she decided to not speak out. She would keep her mouth shut. Even if she didn't agree with her husband came first, the office came first, and she was there standing beside him pretty much throughout whatever choices that he's made in his life. They were married 73 years, which is a testimony in itself. 73 years is something that should be championed. Not many people even live long enough to see that, but just to be able to be with, some say, her soulmate, the first man that she kissed when she was 16 years old, and for her to die with him holding her hand, it's just a touching story to me. I don't know anybody that can not be touched by that story. So like I said, she was 92 years old. She leaves behind her husband, George Bush, who is also in declining health. And you guys know how these things go. Not to sound harsh or anything, but when people have been together this long and their mate dies and they're already in poor health, sometimes when they're not even in poor health, but when their mate dies, that's almost sort of like a link to their life soon after that person passes. And because George Bush has been in declining health, I shouldn't even say this, but I would assume that he probably won't live much longer either. He was younger than Barbara Bush, though, I believe, by a couple of years. I think he was younger by about 4 years. But anyway, she leaves behind, they had 6 kids together. One child preceded them in death, Robin Bush, who was 3 years old. She died from leukemia. But the rest of their children, George W. Bush, who is a former president as well, Jeb Bush, who's the governor in Florida, Dorothy, Neil, and Marvin Bush. She also leaves behind 14 grandchildren and 7 great-grandchildren, a host of family and friends, and many admirers around the world. Rest in peace to Barbara Bush. Alright, rock stars, what was on everybody's tongue last weekend? It was Coachella. Let me give you some history on Coachella. It started back in 1999, modeled after many of the other very large art and festival music fests that were known around the world. This fair was also modeled in the same vein. Back then, it was a music and arts festival. It started in Indio, California, in the Coachella Valley, and it was just a 2-day weekend fair where somewhere around 25,000 people would get together and listen to their favorite bands. Over the years, it has grown in popularity and attendance. Started at 25,000. Back in 2013, they extended it to a 2-weekend mirrored lineup festival. So the same people that performed the first weekend will also perform the second weekend. And it grew to now, as of last year, 2017, to 250,000 people attending, and them grossing somewhere around $120 million. So it is a big, big event. And I can remember maybe hearing about it first right around 2013. I think that was when they really started to amp up the publicity and the PR for it. And as social media grew, people were able to share their experiences on social media. I started to see it more and more and more. Last year, they were going to have their biggest headliner to date, which would have been Beyonce. But we found out that Beyonce was pregnant with twins. She performed at an awards show, not quite, I think it was the MTV Awards or something. Anyway, we quickly found out that them babies, them twins, was laying heavily on her diaphragm. And the amount of singing and dancing that Beyonce does and the breathing that is needed to accomplish these things, she was not going to be able to do, not effectively and not the way that she normally gives to her audience. So she canceled last year and promised that she would give a bigger and better presentation in 2018. Okay, so on that year that she had her babies, and we haven't seen much of Beyonce as far as her performing. She does that. She's good at falling off the grid and taking care of herself and her family. What we did see is that Beyonce still keeps her ears to the streets. Okay, social media has a big effect on the way that she chooses to present her art to the world. And this time, I believe that with the boom in the bands of the HBCU community, and you know, on Baller Alert and Shade Room and many of the larger blog pages, they would showcase HBCUs and the dancers that, you know, go along with the band. And Beyonce was watching. Beyonce definitely was watching. I think that she has made it a point to make it very clear that she is going to do things that concentrate on our Black community. I don't know if it's a bringing awareness to our community or if it's just a throwing it in your face. She feels like doing it that day, whatever. Like her mother said, she has made choices that now that she's the artist that she is, she can do what the hell she wants to do, and it will not affect her negatively. And it's up to her to use that voice to show other communities and people who otherwise wouldn't see these things that we are a well-rounded and colorful community, excuse the pun, but that there's more to us than what they see. And sure enough, like I said, she made good on that promise. She tweeted out Saturday afternoon, listen, make sure you got your water, be hydrated, get your ass in place. I go on at 11 p.m. and it's gonna be something. And, you know, I was just like, 11, fuck, that's 2 o'clock here, 2 o'clock in the morning. I was trying to make it, y'all. I made it till about 1:27, and then, honey, Rocky had to give up the ghost. Like one of the rock stars said, my body was like, this is not what we do. Bitch, what you laying in this damn bed for if you ain't going to sleep? So I didn't see it live. However, the next morning I did watch it before I went to church, and I was amazed is the best word that I can give. Just the sheer effort that it had to take to coordinate. As soon as I saw all those people up on that damn stage, up on those bleachers, all of the instruments, she had a HBCU band. I'm not sure if it was any one particular college or if she maybe grabbed people from other, you know, the best players from different schools. She had dancers. She had that HBCU band. She had a classical band. She probably had a regular, you know, a regular band as well. All them dancers, all those people, it had to be somewhere around 250, 300 people up there. Okay. The way that it was so smoothly coordinated where them people sometimes would just fucking disappear off the stage. You wouldn't hear them. You wouldn't see them. They would be gone. Next thing you know, they were back up there. Child, they was dancing, they was grooving. The music was on point. We have seen, and we'll talk about the other people, when everything doesn't work together and you can't hear, or, you know, you can get off beat. It just so many things that could happen didn't. And that speaks to the professionalism of Beyonce. Even if she gets on your nerves by the oversaturation and everything, I don't know how anybody can doubt the talents of this girl, and nothing but respect for somebody that can pull that off. I mean, it was so much going on that stage, and for it to all just happen Okay, like that. I loved it. And I was just in awe the whole time that I was watching it. She had Destiny's Child come, and people were excited about the reunion of Destiny's Child. And it was just like the old days, you know, people were teasing Michelle about her not being able to move like the rest of Destiny's Child, you know, like Beyonce and Kelly. And that was exactly how it's been in the past. So it was just still refreshing to see them get back together and perform the way they used to. People are asking for Destiny's Child to get back together, but you know, I think they're at the point where they just will sprinkle these kind of little reunions at you guys every now and again. Congratulations to Michelle. As a matter of fact, right before I started doing this video, I saw that Kevin posted that she is engaged. So congratulations to her. She's engaged to that guy, that white guy that looks black. I can't think of his name right now. But also, she also had her sister Solange join her, which is always fun. We love Beyonce. We love Solange. We love Solange for a whole different kind of reason. Okay, someone that we feel that we can totally relate to. You can tell the love between the two of them is very strong. And she also had her husband Jay-Z join her. Okay, I'm gonna take the liberties in saying that maybe Jay-Z did not feel that well, because he was up there croaking and trying to carry on, and I said, "Ooh, Jay, you not showing your age, are you?" Jay is up there around my age, but I really do think that he probably didn't feel well, and it was hoarse. So, you know, it was just like every time I was just like, lozenge. She had Les Twins up there dancing. She had the two other sisters, the big girls that were dancing, that was getting a fucking groove on. She had, I mean, everybody that was on that stage just brought a whole new element of excitement. It was just really, really good. And it's always funny because I always say that Beyonce pretty much sings the very same songs. But like Kendall said, she finds out a way to rearrange it, okay, and bring it to us a different way where it feels like it's brand new. And not many artists can do that. I'm not going to get into the debate about Beyonce and Michael Jackson and all that shit, because I still believe that Michael Jackson was the best entertainer of his time. Okay, Michael Jackson has gone on. Beyonce will now take the reins of the best entertainer of her time. And it'll keep on. As time goes on, the next generation, there will be another one. I don't know who it will be, but that's just how the world goes. It's always somebody who is the best at what they do at that specific time. So, yeah, it was really great. And it was funny to see people that don't necessarily even care for Beyonce. A lot of guys in my job, and even my husband is not the biggest Beyonce fan. I mean, he was just like, that was spectacular. And I think she won a lot of new fans over from that. So I enjoyed it, if I didn't say that. I didn't really watch much of the Coachella Fest. It was streamed on YouTube, which I didn't realize they did, but you guys told me, yeah, they do stream the Coachella Fest every year. I did watch KendrickLamar and SZA, and that was the people that I was talking about when shit can happen. SZA, not quite sure what it was. She did post something about, you know, her team kind of falling apart on her, and, you know, her not being able to hear, some microphone issues, and even some people say that she's not necessarily the best live in front of a large audience like that, that she's more of an intimate kind of a, you know, a quaint, more environment where she can kind of feel in touch with her audience. I don't know what it is, but I did watch their performance. You guys know I love West Coast, bitch. I'm always gonna represent. Love KendrickLamar. We're gonna talk about him later on as well. But and then I watched Cardi B's performance, and you know, I laughed. I thought it was cute. Okay, because Cardi B is very much pregnant. It's just really interesting to watch a pregnant person sing the type of music, rap the type of music that she's rapping. Not that pregnant women don't have the same lives as unpregnant women when it comes to fucking and sucking and being with your man and being disappointed with your man, and, you know, all of that, the big ass and all of the different songs that she has on there. But it was cute. I thought I enjoyed it. She had a lot of dancers up there because she can't quite move the same way that she can. You know, she gave us a little twerk here and there. But babies make a difference on our bodies. But her set was cool. She had YG come out. She had what's the boy? When I hit it one time, I'm a lot. G-Eazy. She had, Why I can't think of the boy's name? Chance the Rapper come out. So she had many of the features that she has on her album. They also joined her there on the stage, and I thought it was good. Okay, I'm happy for Cardi. You guys know that I like Cardi B. And that was pretty much all of the performances that I was really interested in. I may pay a little bit more attention to the lineup this week. Again, Beyonce will be performing, and one of her dancers was tweeting out that if you guys thought last week was something, wait till you see this week. I'm assuming the shit gonna be back at 11 o'clock again, which means it's 2 o'clock my time in the morning. So I guess I'll probably be watching it on Sunday morning again. But yeah, exciting times. And Coachella has come a long way because it, you know, for lack of better words, it was a white festival that has now turned into, I mean, this year especially. Oh, and I forgot the Migos perform, but I didn't watch their performance. I just saw little clips of it. But I mean, them folks was feeling it, and that'll let you know the influence of the hip hop and R&B community on the world. Okay, people are listening. Them kids knew them damn songs. They was enjoying them damn songs, and if that doesn't give you a picture of, with everything else that's going wrong in the world, that music brings us together. Even if it's just for a weekend, that just tells you how strong that music is and how it can be used in a positive such as this. So yeah, we'll be watching again this weekend. And I'm probably going to be talking about it again next week. You guys let me know what you thought about everything. Who was your favorite? What do you remember most? Okay, good, bad, and ugly. Leave it below. And while we are talking about the music industry, we might as well talk about the Billboard nominations. Okay, we won't go through the full list of categories and whatnots. Instead, let's discuss who was nominated for how many awards. Okay, so topping the list, KendrickLamar, Bruno Mars, and Ed Sheeran. They were all nominated for 15 awards. Post Malone was nominated for 10. Drake was nominated for 9. Justin Bieber 8. Cardi B 8, Luis Fonsi and Daddy Yankee both had 7 nominations, and Taylor Swift had 5. Okay, and we almost ready to throw all of Taylor Swift away with that bullshit that she tried with September, child. I can't even begin to tell you guys. Know that Earth, Wind and Fire, The Elements, they are my all-time favorite group. So you just cannot. You can't disrespect a fucking classic like that. Why would you even try? I know everybody tries to get into this whole reimagining of different songs and, you know, putting their own spin on it. You know, that came from American Idol and all of them. They made everybody think that that's what we need to do nowadays. But no, that ain't what we need to do. Leave the shit alone. I'm getting off subject though. Anyway, those were all of the top nominations. The most notable categories being top artists, which Drake, Kendrick Lamar, Bruno, Ed Sheeran, and Taylor Swift are in the running for. Best New Artist nominations are 21 Savage, Kodak Black, Cardi B, Camila Cabello. Is that the girl from Fifth Dimension? Am I saying that name right? Not Fifth Dimension. Fifth. What is it, y'all? No, I'm saying it wrong. I can't remember. Put it on the screen. Don't keep putting it in the fucking comments, y'all. I'm gonna look it up when I get off of here. And Khalid. I guess that's the one that sings "Send Me Your Location, Let's," which is like, I guess he does have another hit song. That's the only song that I know of his. Then we have top male artists being Drake, Kendrick Lamar, Bruno Mars, Post Malone, and Ed Sheeran. And top female artists would be Camila Cabello, again, Cardi B, Halsey, Demi Lovato. My phone put Demi Location, but it's Demi Lovato and Taylor Swift. Okay, so those are the most notable categories that everybody will be looking out for. I'm not even sure when it comes on. Is it this weekend? It's coming on soon, no. So when it does, you guys tune in. You guys let me know who you think should win what, though. And again, since we got to represent the West Coast, is the best coast fool. What up, though? We got to give a congratulations. It's in order. For Compton native rapper extraordinaire Kendrick Lamar. He won the Pulitzer Prize for music. And it is noteworthy to also say that he was the first rapper to be nominated and to win. Usually it's a jazz or classical artist that wins, okay? So he's making history in all kind of ways. The nomination, of course, is a win-win for the hip-hop community, because we now have a whole other community of educated people that probably would never hear a Kendrick Lamar album, but now have shown some sort of respect, as Kendrick Lamar is a voice for our community. And that Damn album, which is what he won for, speaks to many of the concerns and issues and feelings in general of black people. Kendrick Lamar should be very proud to be able to add Pulitzer Prize winner to his title. He's won a lot of awards and accolades. Shout out to Nene. But he is the only rapper that's able to say that he's a Pulitzer Prize winner. They said it was a 30 vote, unanimous vote. Okay, they said they did have quite a spirited discussion before they came to this conclusion. However, they all agreed that Damn should be the vessel that was heard and Kendrick Lamar should be the winner. Of course, there are some that feel like, you know, his win is an insult to the music industry. We had some classical artists who had voiced their opinions that, you know, this was a travesty and whatnot. And that shows, like anything else, that people are going to have to understand that black people, we is here to stay. Okay, black people are talented. Black people have something to say, and you gonna hear it one way or another. Quit feeling like you can shut us out of any type of community, any type of standings in this world simply because our skin is a different color. While those people have their issues, we can't even worry about them. And many true lovers of music have embraced this win for Kendrick Lamar and even have called him, quote, one of the greatest living American composers for sure, unquote. Okay, so yeah, congratulations to K-Dot, y'all. Y'all know how much I love him. I'm so proud of him and all that he has achieved, and the fact that he's been able to stay pretty much low-key and humble. I think that he is a great representation of us LA folk, like I said, West Coast, and the black community as a whole. So yeah, congratulations to Pulitzer Prize winner Kendrick Lamar. You guys, yesterday on Wendy Williams' show, she was talking about Snoop Dogg's new gospel album. It's so funny, my friend Val called me yesterday morning and just happened to be like, girl, you have got to hear Snoop Dogg's gospel album. You know, I had P-Shawed it. I was just like, not even. But she was like, no, Roxanne, it's jamming for real, because it's really more so collaborations with him and other gospel artists, and he kind of just raps the, you know, he just pretty much raps the bridge, not the bridge, you guys know what I'm talking about, like, he just has little rapping parts in it, but for the most part, there are other people that are singing, and she was telling me all about it, and I still haven't listened to it, but from what Val says, that, you know, the album is jamming, so I'll give it a listen. But it obviously is doing well because it has charted #1, and Wendy Williams was talking about it on her show, and for whatever reason, she brought up the Clark sisters. She said, you know, kind of dismissively that the Clark sisters have been singing forever and ever, and that they've never charted #1. Okay, and then she just says, oh, well, step your game up. Now, considering the things that I have heard Wendy Williams say over the years, I didn't think that was something that was all that horrible. She said way worse things about people in the past. But what I had to remember, and what I was quickly reminded of, is the black church community. Yeah, what you're not gonna do is disrespect some legends such as the Clark sisters. And when I say legends, these are people that probably changed the scope of gospel music, from it going from a Mahalia Jackson type of way into this other era of like giving you something that really was, I mean, not to say that older traditional ways of singing gospel music wasn't also moving, but the Clark sisters, listen, you ain't never lived until you have heard the Clark sisters tear apart whatever song they are singing. I can still listen to You Are the Sunshine and get chills. My friend Kathy, God rest her soul, she's dead, but she used to have a tape of a recording. I believe they were singing at James Cleveland Church, child, over there on Slauson and Western, or Slauson and Normandy. Okay, anyway, I believe that's where that recording was. But anyway, when I tell you them girls, if you're not familiar with the Clark sisters, which I'm sure many of you guys are, the way that they are able to take a song or a note, and they had amazing control over the vocal abilities. You talk about vocal acrobatics. These women could do things to their songs and their notes that nobody else, even to this day, you don't see too many people that can do these things that these girls were able to do to their voices, and it would touch your entire soul, child. Be done tore the church up listening to the Clark sisters sing. So they have extreme respect in the community, and they should. And for Wendy Williams to just kind of say, you know, that about them, yep, we're not gonna sit around and let you do something like that. Okay, so I had to remind myself that, oh no, the Clark sisters, you can't come for them like that. And not only that, but she was incorrect, because they do have some number ones. I'm gonna tell you, they charted in 1980 for "Is My Living in Vain," and many of you guys know that song because people have sang and sang and sang that song over and over. Okay, including "Escape." All right, can't nobody forget that rehearsal video of a young Escape when they all singing "Is My Living in Vain." In 1986, they charted number one for "Time Out," and then in 2007, they charted number one for "Blessed and Highly Favored." So at least if you're gonna try to say some shit smart, have your facts right. And you guys know that I have talked to you guys about this in the past, that Wendy Williams is sometimes good for putting out facts that might not necessarily be true. And what I have learned by being on YouTube is, while that kind of, you know, misinformation is fine when you at the kitchen and talking with your homies and you guys are just laughing and, you know, you be fucking up and don't nobody really care. But when you're on a platform such as YouTube, something smaller scale like my channel, or even on a worldwide platform as Wendy Williams, you know, you can't afford to be fucking up the facts like that, okay? Because not only have you attacked a group that has extreme respect for the legacy that they will leave behind them, but you don't even know what the hell you're talking about. All right, so yeah, they came from Wendy, and it's a whole bunch of people that tweeted and put videos out, you know, and told her, you know, pretty much in layman's term, fuck you. They to the church community, so they're not gonna say it. So I'll say it for them. But you can't. You gonna put some respect on their name. Alright, you guys, two stories that I have not been able to confirm. Not quite sure what's going on Instagram and on the internet. I was really researching, you guys. I really do try to research my stories so that I can kind of give you guys, you know, the 411 on who dropped kicked who. Shout out to Aretha Franklin. But I couldn't get much stories on these. The first story is Tammy and Waka. Now, supposedly Waka was caught because he had been fucking around with some University of Arkansas student or University of Alabama student. Not quite sure which university it was, but the story goes that he was performing at this college and that he hooked up with one of the young white girl students, and that, you know, he blew the back out, and then he went on about his day. Unbeknownst to him, the girl had recorded him while he was sitting on the edge of the bed. You can never see the front of him from what I could catch on the internet, but it was his back. He's got some telltale tattoos on his back, you know, he's got his long dreads or whatever, and people had started putting two and two together and said that Waka had been fucking around. And then I guess Tammy had posted a bunch of cryptic messages talking about, you know, she'd rather cut off her finger than the whole hand, and the shit gonna hurt, but, you know, she'll be better off in the long run, and, you know, a whole bunch of other things that kind of made you wonder if she was talking about this situation with Waka. Okay, now we all know the history on Tammy and Waka, and while it's still not surprising to me that a rapper who is on tour, you know, once the block wasn't hot anymore, because, you know, for a minute there Tammy was going with him on tour and all of that, and, you know, he had been put through the ringer for cheating excessively and getting caught quite a few times, so the block was hot. He had to act like he had some fucking sense. But then once everything cooled down and she began to feel like she could trust him again, and, you know, he had proved that, you know, he was a one-woman man, and, you know, he wasn't, you know, he ain't with that narcotic no more, it's not surprising to me that he would still get back out there and fuck around. It just happens. I kind of have a jaded way of looking at, I mean, regular niggas cheat. Alright, so when you have an entertainer that is out there and it's women that's throwing their ass in their face every 15 seconds, then, you know, I just don't have much faith in them. So It's not surprising to me, but the only thing that I'm just like, you have got to be kidding me if this story is true, is the fact that, Walker, you wouldn't put your wife through this again, would you? You know what? I can't even worry about it. I can't worry about it no more. But the crazy thing is that, like I said, I can't find anything on the big credible websites such as Shade Room and Baller Alert that really that really kind of solidifies and tells us that this story is true. Nobody else is saying anything else about it. That original story came out, and then that was it. So I'm not sure if they're trying to bury it because nobody wants to put Tammy through the embarrassment again, or if it just is not true, and that, you know, somebody just had a video of his back, and, you know, because he's had such a blemished past, you know, we automatically assume that he's fucking around, and maybe he's not. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. If you guys know more about the story, then let me know. But, you know, I just really hope that that's not what the case is. Okay, that poor Tammy gonna be on Instagram, you know, all cussing y'all out, you know, all in her business, talking about her man and all of that. My heart breaks for the shit that she would have to go through if he was caught publicly cheating again. Okay, but like I said, can't really find much on the story. And then the next story is Jonathan and K. Michelle. Now, you know, first up, prayers up to K. Michelle, because she's been going through it evidently with her silicone injections in her butt. Okay, you guys know that she had said that she was going to get it removed, and she had started the process, I think, at the beginning of this year. And evidently there were some complications. We didn't know about it, but I was really concerned when she had the surgery and then she went immediately on tour, and I was just like, girl, that's probably being a little ambitious, right? She went on this tour, and evidently she was having a lot of medical issues. She had to be rushed to ER, I think she said 4 times. You know, they were just trying to make it so that she could operate, that she could perform on stage, but she also was having some infection from the silicone. I guess the silicone that was still left inside of her was leaking, and got into her system. You guys know we've all heard horror stories about people getting infections from those injections and even dying. Okay, so she was having infections and having to go to the ER. Eventually it got so bad she was not able to walk and all of that, so they put her in surgery. She had blood transfusions and all of that. Okay, so I know that people have their feelings about K. Michelle, but my heart goes out to her, because when you try to correct something that you know, a mistake that you did in your past, and now you're trying to correct it and move on with your life, I hate that she's going through this process that's even endangering her life to do so, and then have to hear people say, oh, well, you shouldn't have did that anyway. You shouldn't have. Like, the whole thing is, yeah, there's a whole bunch of shouldn't have, couldn't have, wouldn't have. Like, we shouldn't have done a whole bunch of shit, but we've done it. Nobody wants to hear that kind of talk. So, you know, prayers up for her that she's able to pull through and be healthy, and, you know, now have a new song to sing about her new experiences. But anyway, when she had this first surgery, I don't think really many people knew that she was going through all of this. At least I didn't know. That doesn't mean anything. I'm not no huge, you know, I'm not no fan that would know her every move anyway. But she posted all this that happened, and then she also said that a lot of people that she considered her friend was not her friends, because they have been mums the word on the whole thing, haven't even reached out or all that, and she was hurt. And not to be even mean or anything, because I can understand how you would think that your people that you're the closest to would be there for you. I watched Chris Rock's Tambourine yesterday, and what he said and what stuck in my mind is very important. We got to learn that don't nobody give a fuck about us. And that is such a horrible way to look at things. I mean, people will be concerned to a certain extent, but for the most part, everybody has their life. You have to be strong enough to realize that you can't really count on other people like that. And it sucks that you have to find out these things when you really need them. But that is the truth. Like, you cannot expect for people to put down everything in their world to come to your world, even at your time of most desperate need. Again, that sounds harsh, but I think that when you have that way of thinking, that it helps you get through situations such as this. You know, I always say, if you don't expect anything, then you're never disappointed. she was very disappointed in some friends, I guess, and people that she considered her family, not being there for her. And I was sad for her because, you know, it should be rough. But one of the people that they pointed out that she may be speaking about was Jonathan. Okay, Jonathan Fernandez, the one that was on her show, My Life, the one that was on Love and Hip Hop. Okay, even the gentleman who, when I did that thing with VH1 and K Michelle, he was her makeup artist. He was there. I mean, you could tell that they had a very close relationship. He was 100% her guy. He was at her beck and call the whole time we're there, and you could tell that they had a very close relationship. So I guess it would be surprising that supposedly he was not the person that was around for her. Evidently, he had a live feed the other day on Instagram talking about this whole situation. I cannot find a video nowhere. No website has, I don't know if they didn't think it was important enough or if they just wasn't able to grab it, but nobody has it anywhere for me to see what he was even talking about. I'm not sure if he was giving excuses of why he wasn't there, if he was saying that it wasn't true and that he was there for her and that he was not the person that she was talking about. I don't really know because I can't find it. But it would be surprising if the relationship that they had, because not too long ago I remember her even putting this whole post up saying how much she loves Jonathan and how, you know, that's like her brother and all of this. I'm not sure, but you know, and Jonathan has been busy as of late. He's doing Love and Hip Hop now, so I'm sure that maybe he's being pulled in more directions. Yeah, this might be one of those situations where we just have to learn the hard way that don't put your faith in man. Pump your own self up. Be there for yourself. Okay, there's always going to be a core group of a few people that you know you can count on. Like I know my circle that I can count on. And as far as any other people, I cannot be concerned about. Okay, and it's too bad that K Michelle had to learn it this way while she's in pain and going through it. But it happens. But again, my prayers up for her and that she has a speedy recovery. They say that, you know, she had all the silicone taken out. Now she's thinking about going back on tour. You know, that she may even be in a wheelchair. I don't know what she's going to look like when she gets back out there. It's just a sad situation. And a learning experience for many people. Your body is very important. So it's when you get these things done, I'm not down on plastic surgery, but make sure it's done the right way so that you don't go through something that a K Michelle has gone through. Okay. But if anybody else has more information on that story, again, I couldn't find nothing on either of these two. So y'all let me know in the comments below. All right, you guys. And then lastly, Coachella. Let's go back to that for a minute. So you guys know that there's a lot going on at Coachella Fest, and they have a lot of people on the premises, and they're conducting interviews with, you know, with famous people and getting their opinions on things. And so we had Nadeska Alexis, that's the girl from Everyday Struggle, I believe, right? She was interviewing Vince Staples. And it was supposed to be a fun, lighthearted, you know, talk about whatever they were going to be talking about. But instead, Vince used it as an opportunity to tell y'all exactly how he felt about alleged accused child molester and child predator and sexual predator R. Kelly. And I use the word allegedly because he has not been convicted for anything. Anyway, while she sat down and asked him some question, I don't even know what she asked him. He changed it completely. And he said, and I quote, "You don't go to prison if you're a black entertainer, only if you're a black gangster rapper. I'm changing my whole path. Think about it. R. Kelly never went to jail, and he's a fucking child molester. He's a child molester, and he pees on people, and he can't read and write, and he didn't go to jail. I'm a good person. R. Kelly is a piece of fucking shit. So if a piece of fucking shit, R. Kelly, didn't go to jail for being a child molester and peeing on people and having a human trafficking ring in Atlanta, then I'll be all right," unquote. Now, I don't know exactly why he got on R. Kelly, but I guess it needed to be said, and it got said that damn day, didn't it? And poor Alexis, you know, she was just like trying to change the subject and get him off of it, but he was very determined to get exactly what he said off of his fucking chest. Okay, now I'm going to say it, and you're going to listen, and it's going to be out there for the world to hear by the end of this interview. So, I feel bad for Alexis, but I was like, girl, you're going to be all right. But back to R. Kelly. It's the strangest thing that we keep on hearing all these stories about R. Kelly and nothing happening to it. I don't understand exactly what is going on there. I guess it might be because he has decided to move up his age group from underage to right at about 19. I guess technically he is not doing anything illegal anymore, and that he can't be tried again for something that he was already tried for. So they can't catch him on anything. All of these allegations that we keep on hearing, it just continues to come. Like, it almost feels like every week there's an R. Kelly story. I don't report on them because it's just the same thing over and over and over. But they're out there. And I told you guys when it finally convinced me that something was fucking wrong with R. Kelly, and I guess it probably shouldn't have taken that long. I mean, I knew it was something wrong when I saw the video. But then my mind was able to tell me that, you know how we play tricks on ourselves to just so that we can be able to still listen to his music. But then when I finally realized that this motherfucker is crazy, is that interview that he did with GQ, and I talked about it in the old Top of the Blogs. R. Kelly is touched. He is fucking special. Something is wrong with him. But for whatever reason, he escapes any type of criminal legal outcomes from what he's doing. And I guess because, like I said, technically he's not doing anything illegal anymore. These girls get back out, and then, they say while they're in his captive that that's where they want to be and he's not holding them. But then when they break out, that's when the story changes and they say, oh yeah, no, I didn't want to be there and all that. So I don't know if legally the DA's office and all these other people have a story to stand on, because it's so wishy-washy of who's involved and what is happening in between his four walls. Okay, so, but yeah. On that day, Vince Staples had a whole bunch of time, and he made sure that he put it out there that he don't see it for that R. Kelly. Alright, you guys, let me get off of here. Been talking for a long time. Got to get on back to work. Okay, we do this every single week. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.